You are listening to chartingwealth.com for Friday, the 21st of April, 2017. We see that stocks are up for the day. Gold is up. Bonds are down. Let's jump right into the S&P 500 on our weekly chart. And we see that we are continuing to move down on our weekly chart. We have the derivative oscillator continuing to heat up. And even though we don't have the same amount of forceful down movement as far as the price percent oscillator goes for the week ending on the 13th, as we move toward the week that will end on the 21st, we continue to have down movement of both the signal line and the PPO, and the derivative oscillator continues to heat up. We did have an up day on Thursday, up 0.81% for the day on the weekly chart. We look at our two-day chart. We do see that up movement for the first day of the two-day chart, it has not closed out yet. It did push up through both the two-day and the weekly, just barely above. We still have the derivative oscillator negative. We do have our two-day chart running sideways as far as the PPO goes, so keep an eye on that most definitely. Remember, we had our weekly vertical crossover that occurred our buy-in point was right there on Monday, the 3rd of April. Market slid sideways and dropped, and now it's trying to build itself back up again, so we will continue to keep a close eye on the S&P 500. Back to our weekly chart, take a look at the Qs, up for the day 0.84%. What do we see on our weekly chart? We have, of course, it's the first full week after we had the weekly vertical crossover occur. Again, we've got a spinning green top after a spinning red top. Derivative oscillator still negative. We're still negative on the price percent oscillator. We will continue to watch. We are above the very weak weekly trend line that we tried to draw. In fact, we don't actually have a weekly trend line at this point. If we go to our two-day chart, we'll see that it was a big up day. The first day of the two-day chart on the 20th actually pushed through the two-day trend line. We're still in the negative when it comes to derivative oscillator, and we haven't crossed back over going up on the two-day chart, but it does bear watching. Again, remember, we still have a confirmed down move on our weekly vertical chart, our weekly vertical crossover, but be careful of particularly watching the PPO on this two-day chart as well as the weekly chart. That is quite a move up. Again, just for one day of the two-day chart, we will definitely see what happens on Friday and continue to assess the situation. What do we have going on TLT? Our bonds continuing to move up. It was a bit of a down day on bonds, 0.39%. So when we look at our weekly chart, we continue to see it exploding upward. We're now into 5 weeks of continued upward movement on bonds. We had our weekly vertical crossover occur. Shaky start back on the 3rd of February, up a little bit, then down. Then it really sprung into action once that two-day chart crossed back over, going up strongly. Again, sometimes you gotta just find bottoms, but that weekly vertical chart tells you, that weekly vertical crossover tells you that it is on the way. And of course, we did find it there on the 24th when the market really started to rock up on TLT. If we look at the two-day chart, you can see where it had a spinning top again. That's the first day of the two-day chart. Still in the green on the derivative oscillator, still moving up on the price percent oscillator. So we'll continue to watch what's going on with the TLT. We had a crossover going down, of course, on that 2-hour chart at 2 p.m. on the 19th, and we will continue to pay attention as things wrapped up at the end of the day. You had a spinning green top, so keep an eye, all the charts, all the time. When you're in the weekly vertical crossover plays, of course, it's the bigger charts, the 2-day and the weekly. Now, lastly, we'll go to the weekly chart. We'll take a look at gold. Gold up for the day, 0.19%. And again, gold turned around about the same time things bottomed out on TLT. Gold started moving up too as far as the bonds bottoming out. Gold started moving up on the 24th of March, and we've seen 5 weeks of up movement since then, continuing to rocket up on that weekly chart. We look at the 2-day, and we can see that gold continuing to be in the positive on the 2-day chart, but it has been slipping sideways the last couple of days. Like we said, gold up 0.19%. So continue to keep an eye on the 2-day chart just to see where that is headed. Remember, the master chart is that weekly chart. It's still moving up, looking strong. So make sure to pay attention to those charts as they continue to develop. Remember, this 2-day chart is going to close out at the close of the day on Friday. It is an options expiration Friday, which typically means more volatility. So we'll continue to watch and just see what happens. And, that's what the market is all about. It's always fascinating. We are trend followers. We wait for trends. We follow them. And we have seen some dramatic and wonderful results. We will continue to do that, continue to keep you posted. Don't forget, what we'll do at the close of the day on Friday is we will start working on and preparing our comprehensive review and forecast, going over everything that's going on all 4 of our ETFs, letting you know how the week settled out, where we are, and delving into what we can expect over the course of the next week, what we will be looking for and preparing for as the market does what the market's going to do. Remember, we trend follow. You have questions, problems, concerns, we're always happy to hear from you at Charting Wealth. All you have to do is go to the website, chartingwealth.com. You can leave us messages right there under the Contact Us part of the page, or you can just email us directly, cw@chartingwealth.com. That's CW like Charting Wealth, CW@chartingwealth.com. If you're not already on our weekly vertical crossover notification list, you got to get on that. We will text you when weekly vertical crossovers occur. We had one happen this last week on the NASDAQ 100 QQQ. And it is invaluable to get that information. If you want to be on that list, all you need to do is text to the number 33222, the word Charting Wealth, one word, Charting Wealth, to the number 33222 on your cell phone. Please don't email us with 33222 Charting Wealth. That will not get us anywhere. But if you will on your phone, text to the number 33222 Charting Wealth. Be happy to do that for you. If you're not already signed up for our newsletter, you get every day the video that we do covering all of our charts and the markets as far as gold, bonds, and stocks, the 2 indexes that we look at, the S&P 500 and the Qs, gold, and TLT, the 20-year bond fund. Thank you so much for being with us. We love to hear from you. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and, of course, to our email newsletter and video every day. And also, go to iTunes, subscribe to our podcast, give us a nice 5-star rating. We appreciate that. You guys have made us what is high as number 4 or 5 in the world for stock trading podcasts. We appreciate that. Thank you so much, my friends. God bless from chartingwealth.com.